Australia just got a 3.5% pay rise. And no, it's not just you imagining that your bank account now screams a little less at the servo. Real. The Fair Work Commission, in all its caffeinated wisdom, has decided that Australia's national minimum wage and award wages deserve a little boost. How generous, right? A whole 3.5%. That's like going from a small coffee to a medium. If you're lucky. Now you might be thinking, 3.5%? That's not even enough to cover the cost of my weekly almond milk lattes. And you'd be absolutely right. But in the world of economics, small percentages can lead to big debates, especially when it's about your hard-earned dollars. Let's start with the basics. The pay rise applies to minimum wage earners and those on modern awards. That includes a whole range of hard-working legends, from retail workers who have to smile while customers argue over 10-cent discounts, to hospitality workers who can carry 7 plates at once without blinking. This 3.5% increase means the national minimum wage now goes up. So if you were earning, say, a fixed minimum wage each week, you can now afford to buy maybe one more avocado toast per fortnight. That's progress, right? The Fair Work Commission decided this increase was necessary to help Australians keep up with inflation. And by keep up, they mean slightly jog behind while inflation sprints ahead on a motorbike. Still, it's better than standing still or worse going backwards like a Woolies trolley with a wonky wheel. For workers, it's a win. Not a jackpot, but at least it's not as scratchy that says, better luck next time. For businesses, though, especially small ones, the response has been a little more, let's say, dramatic. Some are claiming this increase could force them to raise prices, cut hours, or train seagulls to deliver coffee. It's a delicate balance, fair pay for workers versus survival for businesses. Now imagine being a small business owner. You've already survived bushfires, floods, a pandemic, and now the price of lettuce hitting $12. Just when you thought it couldn't get any harder, the government walks in and says, surprise! Give everyone a pay bump. Meanwhile, your profit margins are as thin as a gluten-free cracker. On the workers' side, the vibe is cautiously optimistic. People are happy they're not being ignored, but also slightly insulted that 3.5% is being called a rise. It's like giving someone a slice of cake after they've run a marathon and telling them they can lick the plate too. But let's talk about what this actually means in dollars. For full-time workers on the minimum wage, this could be around an extra $30 a week. Not enough for a night out in Sydney, but maybe enough to splurge on name-brand cereal instead of the home-brand disappointment that tastes like wet cardboard. And here's where it gets funny. People on social media have already started spending their 3.5% pay rise in the most Aussie ways possible. One bloke said he'd buy a second packet of shapes without waiting for a discount. Another said he might turn the heater on this winter instead of just wearing 14 layers and crying in the shower. Someone else said they'd treat themselves to a fancy meat pie, the one in the warmer with actual chunks of meat, not the mystery mash. But beyond the jokes, the pay rise has a serious purpose. It's meant to help low-paid workers keep up with the rising cost of living. Rent has gone up, groceries have become a financial negotiation, and don't even start on electricity bills. Have you ever opened a power bill and felt personally attacked? That's the reality for many Australians right now. Now let's zoom out for a second. Australia has had a few pay rises in recent years, but none of them seem to be enough to catch up to the speed of inflation. It's like being on a treadmill where inflation is running at 12 km/h and you're stuck at 6, with one shoe missing. This latest increase is also part of the government's broader push to tackle income inequality. There's a growing gap between the average CEO's salary and what everyday Aussies earn. While CEOs are getting bonuses the size of a house deposit, some workers are getting excited about being able to afford real cheese again. It's also politically charged, of course. Some politicians are clapping like seals, praising the decision. Others are yelling into microphones about how it will destroy the economy. There's always someone predicting the end of the world every time workers get a few extra dollars. You'd think we were giving out gold bars, not just enough to maybe cover your Netflix subscription. But there's a twist. Not everyone gets this pay rise. It doesn't automatically apply to all workers, only those on award wages and the national minimum wage. So if you're on a private contract enterprise agreement, or you've accidentally become a full-time unpaid intern for your mate's startup, you might miss out. There's also the sneaky part where some employers might try to delay or ignore the increase. Oh, sorry mate, your pay rise must have gotten lost in the mail. We'll fix it. next quarter. That's why it's important for workers to know their rights. If you're not sure whether you're entitled to the increase, don't ask Karen from accounting. Go check the Fair Work Ombudsman website. Or better yet, just ask ChatGPT. Now let's look at the broader economy. Economists are torn on the impact. Some say it will stimulate spending because when workers earn more, they spend more. Others warn it could cause inflation to stick around longer. It's like a tug of war between the people who eat smashed avu and the people who invest in smashed avu futures. And you know what? All this could affect things like interest rates. If spending rises and inflation doesn't calm down, the Reserve Bank might decide to hike interest rates again, which means your mortgage repayments might go up. So that $30 extra a week you got? Yeah, it's now going straight to your bank. Just like before. Full circle. Hooray. On a lighter note, the memes have been spectacular. One showed a man in a tuxedo captioned, "Me walking into Aldi after my 3.5% pay rise." Another had a woman dramatically holding her shopping receipt saying, "Finally, I can buy the good toilet paper again." Australians truly know how to turn economic anxiety into comedy gold. But jokes aside, every cent matters. Especially when you're living week to week. That extra bit can help cover fuel, rent, school lunches, or that emergency Uber when you missed the last train because you were stuck talking to someone about their crypto portfolio again. There's also a psychological boost. Workers feeling seen and valued, even if it's just a symbolic rise, can make a difference. It's about dignity, recognition, and being able to say, "I got a raise," even if your cat still eats better than you. And let's not forget, this decision came after months of submissions, research, and public consultations. It wasn't just someone spinning a wheel and landing on 3.5%. There were debates, charts, pie graphs, and probably a few heated Zoom calls. So what now? If you're an employee, check your award or agreement and talk to your employer. If you're an employer, start adjusting your payroll and maybe talk to a financial advisor before dramatically yelling, "We're doomed," over the counter at your cafe. And if you're a politician, maybe try living on minimum wage for a week before you comment. In conclusion, this 3.5% pay rise is both a step forward and a reality check. It's not a windfall, but it's a signal, a nudge in the right direction. It says, "We see you. We know the cost of milk is ridiculous. And we're trying. Australia, you've earned it. Even if all it gets you is a full tank of petrol and a cheeky servo pie."